I would forgive you if you forgot that Assassin's Creed Shadows came out 3 weeks ago, mostly because, well, Ubisoft hasn't exactly been out there touting the success of the game. The last time they gave a player update, because they can't give a sales date or anything like that. No, don't worry about that. Was at the end of March. March 27th was the last time that they prominently and proudly came out and said 3 million people have played our game. Whatever that means. They signed up for Ubisoft Connect. They downloaded it on one system and then they went and played it on another. That counts as 2 players. I don't know. They had somebody watching over somebody's shoulder. They counted the amount of people that was in a Hassan Piker stream as active players because they could see somebody just struggling to mostly articulate a sentence. And then on top of that, just, stumble and mumble his way through a little bit of gameplay twice over for $75,000. I wish I was joking, but no, you can go and download a torpedo bat katana because that's really cool. But hey guys, don't worry about the financial disaster that Ubisoft is in. Don't worry about the upcoming layoffs that I'm sure we're going to hear about more than likely after the end of this fiscal year. So at the end of this month, or more than likely at the beginning of next month, to really clean out the calendar heading into a new year, or at least a new quarter. Yeah, those are going to be coming down the pike because we already heard about the closing of Leamington Studios, but there's still a bunch of other studios that had been announced for what was the way that they called it, right? Restructuring. Yeah, we're going to be hearing more about that in the near future. But hey, us getting bogged down in the weeds of figuring out if we're going to find a way to pull this Western gaming industry out of its self-imposed funk, out of the, that it's been in for the past, at this point in time, I would say at least a decade. But realistically, man, like the fact that they've been doubling down on certain personal politics very heavily, probably in the light of 2020 and the summer of love and all that crap, how they've really honed in on that stuff. We're not going to see all of this stuff dry up, at least for a couple of years. We know development time on this stuff, and there's there's 2 very prominent games. One, there's a chance that it could be good, okay? Ghost of Yotei, for as much wrong with it that you can point to, like taking a look at that development team and it looking very much different than the Ghost of Tsushima team. But Sucker Punch has yet to produce a dud, and Erika Ishii, she's a nutcase. But then again, it's like if you can separate the art from the artist, and if they can do that themselves, might be able to put out something good out there. But then of course you got Neil Druckmann and Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet, and how that's going to be a big takedown of Christianity. Well, that's coming. I don't even know if we have a proper release date on that. That's probably coming out next year, or maybe 2027. And it's just, man, oh God, with a whole host of factors recently. Okay, specifically talking about big budget AAA games. It's like, if it wasn't for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, there would be I wouldn't have any hope in the AAA space. All of it's just recycled crap, or just games I don't give a single care about. Like if I see another Souls-like get announced, I'm just completely and totally, I'm so disinterested in that type of game. Like that whole archetype, just a unimaginative studio just wanting to make a game is like, oh, what's popular? What are the kids like? Souls like? Okay, yeah, just cover that, just paint that with whatever you want. Just take one of our IPs and just make a Souls like, and just push it out there like that. It's just, there's so much uninspired gameplay, and then just the aesthetics that you get from FromSoft don't really resonate with me at all. And that trend has been going on far longer than we had. Like every generic game would get a 2D platformer back in the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era, and then bumping things up a little bit. Then you get a third or a first person shooter during the Xbox 360, PS3 days, or just a generic beat 'em up. Like those were just little epochs in time. But the Souls-like, and it's always just crappily done. Like the mechanics are never that great anyways. It's a trend that's been going on for far too long. And yeah, that's what you get out of Yasuke, just the worst version of that, coupled with, the worst aspects of the Arkham series mechanics. So they're leeching off of just about a decade-old trend, and then also stealing mechanics from a game that established their own mechanics well over a decade ago. And you're wondering why the game that needed to save the company isn't performing like a game that is needed to save a company. But don't worry about all that stuff. Okay, because Hideki Kamiya, okay, the guy behind Bayonetta, the guy behind Okami, and the guy behind a little game you might have heard of called Devil May Cry, which has seen better days recently as an IP. Like, can't we just go back to how great Devil May Cry 5 was? No, we just need to make an anime about how the demons are just misunderstood allegories for the U.S. invasion of Iraq, and we can play American Idiot over the top of it. Holy Christ, man, I feel bad. Well, I was just going to say for Devil May Cry fans, but just kind of for like anybody who's a fan of art recently, because holy shit, everything sucks recently. Like, just listening to breakdowns and watching gameplay of this stuff, it's like there's nothing creative that's coming out, at least in a big budget. I know my indie game, and you can point to, I seen this one trailer for this one indie product, but there was a point in time, right? Like back when I was young and back when I was growing up, there was new stuff coming out all the time, and yeah, not all of it would hit like heroin, but more often than not, you would get some pretty decent stuff. But this time around, like for every one good thing that comes out, you have to trade that off for like 10, not just duds, but just pieces of art, pieces of media that are in the conversation for the worst in their chosen genre of all time. Like, Shadows is ass. I don't think anybody just simply outside of spite is continuing to play this game, because we can look, okay, like we can look right now, and in the past 24 hours, okay, or I'm sorry, over the past weekend, yeah, you had the game peak out. Okay, actually, we got to go a little bit further over on Sunday. Yeah, it crossed 30,000 players, so in a little bit less than 3 weeks, the game has lost half of its player base. Oh, no, but that's not where the biggest player, that the PC gaming only accounts for 27% of the audience, and whatever other cope that you want to throw out there. But yeah, no player update since the 27th. They're just out there trying to tell you that no, everything is fine. Okay, you got Kamiya coming out and comments on Assassin's Creed Shadows controversies saying that, well, normal people don't care about them. Okay, his remarks were offered alongside some high praise for Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. Oh, which ones is he talking about? The veterans that have driven this franchise into the ground, or the ones that have never worked on a game before? Okay. Hideki Kamiya has recently reflected on the state of the affairs by stating that a few super intense people made a big fuss about Assassin's Creed Shadows. At the same time, the creator of Okami and Bayonetta believes that these detractors are simply a loud minority. Having said as much in a March 24th tweet, elaborating on the notion, Kamiya asserted that most normal people adopt an it's fine stance when it comes to things like video games related drama. Yeah, exactly. Just stick your head in the sand, don't pay attention to this stuff, and leave it up to the professionals. Because doing that stuff has just served everybody so well. This is the whole tactic, right? And it's just also looking at the shit show that is politics right now, okay? Just people trying to simp for Trump and his tariffs. It's like, bro, okay, you're not going to win that battle. I'm a big Trump guy. You guys know this if you've been watching for a long enough period of time, okay? This is not just going to this election cycle. I'm not no Johnny come lately. I don't know what happened. The left just kept... No, I've never been that motherfucker. I've been a conservative guy for as long as I can remember, and I've seen different strains of people ebb and flow through the movement. And so I've seen these tactics applied at that level for a long time. Specifically how conservatives, instead of just, trying to do what they do best, okay? Make little minuscule changes, just make little incremental changes in order to uphold the structure of a once great industry or institution, okay? Just fix the cracks, and not trying to overhaul anything, but just make it work for as long as possible, and then just little tiny innovations. But no, they all just decided, don't pay attention to this stuff, okay? It's just all for kids. Video games are for kids, movies and entertainment. That's just a waste of your time. You should just, sit at home with a fully buttoned up plaid shirt and just smoke your pipe and drink your brandy from a snifter and read leather bound books and just whatever other cringe fun stuff that they can think of and advocate for. Meanwhile, yeah, you let the inmates run the asylum, and then you get shit like Shadows, like Dragon Age of the Veilguard, Dustborn, the 95th re-release of The Last of Us Parts 1 or Parts 2. When there is no pushback, when there isn't people going, actually, all of this shit sucks ass, and instead of innovating, we are in fact degrading as an industry. You're an idiot for saying, you just shouldn't pay attention to it. It's just a hyper minority of people. If it's something that you care about, speak up. If there are issues and problems that you see with something that you care about, you know where the slippery slope goes. You've seen it time and time again at this point in time. Enough giving them leeway. Don't just accept that Shadows is, it's just fine. If you don't like it, don't talk about it. Well, here's the thing. If the perception that this game is just fine, that actually it's pretty good, if you're looking for, okay, imagine this, right? Like you're just walking into this stuff in today's day and age. You have no idea of the culture war, anything going on over top of gaming, television, entertainment in general. Like you just wanted to know because you played Assassin's Creed games before, but you want to know, it's like, okay, what are we getting with Shadows? What is it? What's the word on the street? And nobody's pushing back against this stuff. All of the people that don't like the game don't simply talk about the game. They're taking the advice of Kamiya and the other talking heads in the industry. If you don't like it, don't talk about it. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Everybody's turned into your old aunt and everybody's taking that advice. Then, just uninformed Johnny that just rocks up off the street, okay? He just types into Google Assassin's Creed Shadows reviews, and then he ends up just getting all of these toxically positive reviews saying that the game is great. He forks out $80, $90, $100 to get the, deluxe, the super deluxe, the Mario Kart World Deluxe Edition. And then he gets this buggy disaster with a couple of nice leaf physics in the background. And he's absolutely robbed because nobody wanted to push back. Everybody said that it was just fine. Well, if everything was just fucking fine, Kamiya, why is it that Ubisoft stock continues to fall into the shitter? Wondering how that happens. Ubisoft stock collapsed below 10 euros as shareholders revolt over said Tencent deal. Yeah, because they know that, that 25% of the little subsidiary, it's not where this shit is going to end. Ubisoft is in significant trouble because I don't know if they have any other games coming out this year. It was like Shadows and nothing. Financial woes for Ubisoft have reached a critical flashpoint. On April 5th, 2025, the company's stock fell below the psychologically and financially significant threshold of 10 euros per share, an event that sends a clear signal to investors the company is now considered toxic. Yeah, Ubisoft stock has plummeted below 10 euros, a threshold that in the financial world signals a dangerous trajectory becoming a penny stock. Yeah, pretty much, and that's what I've posited. Several other people have also come to the conclusion that, Tencent buys in 25% of that subsidiary, that it's going to be an umbrella corporation for all of Ubisoft's at least perceptibly significant IPs, Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and what was the other one? Oh, Far Cry, right? So yeah, they're taking all of the heavy hitters, moving them over here, and then leaving the rest of the company to be restructured moving forward. Because when it comes to future games in development, I think we heard rumors about what Far Cry 7 could potentially look like. Oh yeah, no, we need to go out there and fight a bunch of, white MAGA allegories. It's like, yeah, cool, you did that with Far Cry 5, and people started to get pushed over the edge with Ubisoft at that point in time where, it wasn't so much that the gameplay was already getting repetitive. It's like, wow, you're just re-releasing Far Cry 3 again. Big shock on that one. But no, a lot of people have posited that Tencent is going to get a better return on their investment by just putting everything over into a subsidiary they own 25% of, restructure, and then eventually, that 25% is going to account for a much larger share. But you also think, okay, because you got more than half of your company hanging out in limbo, you drive down the price of that stock, and then Ubisoft, okay, needing a bailout because their own financial standing is completely and totally through the floor, then Tencent can come in and buy in a bigger portion of the company at a lower price point. It makes a lot of sense. It makes all the sense in the world. But yes, now the first stage of the decline is marked by digit share prices, a red flag for investors who now view Ubisoft as a poison stock, a risky asset prompting future divestment. A single-digit milestone is often the initial symptom of a cancer that breeds volatility and, in the worst case, bankruptcy. However, an even grimmer reality looms beneath the surface. As of April 5th, 2025, Ubisoft's total valuation stands approximately at 1.366 billion, a figure dwarfed by its reported debt. Yeah, and I thought that was somewhere in on and around the amount of money that Tencent threw into the company. But yes, with non-IFRS a net debt of 1.102 billion euros and IFRS and net debt reaching 1.1408 billion euros as of September 30th, 2024. Yeah, likely higher now due to the ongoing financial strain and the fact that they have not recouped any losses. 3 million players on a game that has the upward rumored budget of $350 million. Same thing with Star Wars Outlaws. Neither of those games turning a profit, not even coming close. Because we're coming up on a month, right? And people were thinking that, in order for Shadows to be a hit, it's got to be somewhere in on and around 5 to 7 million units sold, not just players. They might not even get that many interactions on the game. Because it's pretty much dead, okay? It's not growing at all whatsoever. I wouldn't be shocked if in the next few weeks, and especially during the Steam summer sale, if we don't get like a significant price decrease, okay? We don't get a significant sale on Shadows. Tencent appears poised to, swoop in and acquire Ubisoft, wholesale at this point, but the move won't halt the layoffs already underway. Whispers within the industry suggest that the most significant cuts are yet to come, with a major restructuring expected between June and July of this year. This timing aligns with the next financial report, which aims to reset the books and to mitigate rising loan obligations, though it may be too little, too late. Yeah, exactly. So, those the layoffs are going to be happening somewhere around the midpoint of this year. We got another couple of months, okay, when it comes to speculation. I could imagine that we'll probably hear a few more studios closing, but not exactly, like layoffs. We'll just hear, we're just looking to move people over to some of our more active studios. It's just, we don't really need this support place over here, and that one, we just want to centralize and focus a little bit more on our upcoming projects like Assassin's Creed Hex. Oh boy, that one looks like it's going to be a noxious disaster. And outside of that, bro, it's really tough to be optimistic about Ubisoft, and you think that it would serve as a warning for the rest of the industry, but you take a look at what's on tap for the rest of it, and outside of Doom, the Dark Ages, it's going to be a more female protagonist that'll look exactly like that. And they might actually be learning. The wider industry might actually be learning from the upcoming Doom title, because they're going to be taking the byline awfully seriously. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.